How's it hanging, YouTube? This is King of Feral Limps, and today I'm going to be going over my Gusto deck currently. Now, of course, this isn't a super competitive build or a real good build. This is my fun build that has, gimmicks and tricks and, things here and there that I like to use, that I personally like using. And this has pretty much been the only Gusto build I've ever really ran. So, of course, please keep that in mind. But I have been getting actually a lot of questions on my last Gusto deck profile to update it for the new format, because obviously there are some changes here and there that do need to be made for Gusto and decks of the sort. So I went ahead and made those changes, and I'm going to talk about it. And I did update something because, yes, I actually did buy one new card, but as you know, I haven't been buying a lot of new cards. So I don't know, not that it's going to be proxy.deck, but for the most part, I'm going to go ahead and explain anything that needs to be explained. Let me see. I just wanted to do it in real life because I have the cards and I didn't want them to go to waste. Be sure to leave a like if you like the real life deck profiles, and I'll definitely try to do more in the future. Maybe even get some other people to do them. But so far, yeah, this is Gusto's fun deck. I love it. Let's talk about it. And again, like I said, it's a fun build, so don't expect this to top a regional or a local. But maybe like a local you could, but I don't want to say that there's no point in trying to make it competitive, but for the most part, Gustos aren't super competitive. They haven't really ever been, and I don't really see them being so in the near future. So again, fun build. Gonna go ahead and start it now. So first off, for monsters is the level 1 guy, Gusto Eagle. He's a level 1 tuner, wing beast, and he has stats are absolutely nothing, but he has the effect that when he's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you get to special summon a level 4 or lower non-tuner Gusto monster from your deck. So, he's one of the floaters, and then he can go ahead and summon Winda, and Winda has the effect that when she's destroyed by battle, in your possession only, so no creature swap with this, but while she's in your possession, while you control her, and destroyed by battle, then you can go ahead and activate the effect to special summon a Gusto tuner monster from your deck. And then that leads us into Goldo, which Goldo's a level 3 tuner, and he has the effect that anytime he's on the field and he's destroyed, not just by battle, but by a card effect even, then you get to special summon one level 2 or lower Gusto monster from your deck. So that's how these guys loop. So Eagle summons Winda, Winda summons Goldo, and then Goldo summons Eagle. Let me see if I can even that out. But yeah, these are your three main floaters of the deck. This is pretty much the core of the deck, and one reason I really like it, because all of these monsters, they replace themselves. Now, of course, there is some overlap. Goldo can not only summon Eagle, but Winda as well. And then Eagle and Winda can summon other things. Winda can summon Eagle, but for the most part, that's the loop it goes. You go Eagle, Winda, Goldo, and then Goldo back to Eagle, and then so on and so on. So you can cycle through this entire thing like 3 times each. Granted, they all stay in the main deck. So that's it for the main core. For additional monsters, the last 3 I'm playing is Pelica, Descendant of Gusto. Now this is some legacy support, and it's some great support. She has the effect that whenever she's normal or special summon, you get to target a wind tuner in your graveyard and special summon it. So obviously the best choice for her is to summon Goldo, because Goldo is a level 3 tuner, so normal or special summon, and then special summon this from the graveyard, and you can make a nice level 6 synchro monster or a rank 3 Xyz monster, but it has to be wind, because that's the drawback to her effect, is that you can only activate it once per turn, and on top of that, you can only special summon wind monsters for the rest of the turn. So even though this is a great card, it does restrict it in that sense. And then after that is just 2 Kamui, Hope of Gusto. Now Kamui has he's a flip effect monster, and when you flip summon him, you get to special summon a Gusto tuner monster from your deck. Again, Goldo is a great target because level 2 and then level 3 tuner. You can make a nice level 5 synchro, or if by chance if your opponent attacks into this and he's flip summon and special summon, he's sort of a pseudo floater, because then you get another one of these off, and then you can start your floater loop if you need to. If you need to endure a lot of attacks. But for the most part, he's really good because you can set him. If your opponent doesn't do anything, flip summon him. Summon Goldo, sync, and then you still have your normal summon. Let's see. That's it for the Gusto monsters. Aside from that is just kind of basic psychic support monsters in these 3. 2 psychic jumpers and then 1 psychic serene psychic witch. Now Jumper is a level 2 tuner, and that's the only reason, really the main reason I'm playing him, because Gustos do have a level 2 tuner, but is not phenomenal. I'm playing this because, of course, we can summon it with Emergency Teleport, and then he does have a neat effect that while you control him and another Psychic monster, you can pay 1,000 life points to target the Psychic monster you control and one monster your opponent controls and creature swap them. So it's a forced creature swap. The creature swap each player chooses, but this one you pay 1,000 and you get to choose. But again, the monster that you pick does have to be Psychic. But I mean, we play enough Psychics, so I mean that effect is sort of useful. But again, main reason is that he's level 2 tuner that you can summon off of Emergency Teleport and other things. And then one Serene Psychic Witch, because she's a floater, gets destroyed by battle, then you can banish one Psychic monster from your deck and then special summon it during your standby phase. You can go ahead and use the effect to summon Pelica. Where's Pelica? Right there. And then, let's see, gets destroyed by battle, banish this. During your standby phase, this comes out. Activate effect. Summon YuGiOh, and then you're golden from there, and you still have your normal summon. Let's see, aside from that is the one Debris Dragon. Now, Debris Dragon, you can't exactly, I mean, I'm not exactly playing him to use his effect. I mean, you can use it to summon Kamui, because Kamui does get under the level, or no, the attack thing. He has low enough attack to summon. So you can make a nice dragon, level 6, which there are some we do play. But I mean mostly I'm playing Debris Dragon because it does combo with Pelica. Now Pelica can summon this. Now when I brought up this, when I showed a Pelica and Debris Dragon, someone said you can't summon Pelica with Debris Dragon. Nope, that's not what you do. You summon Debris Dragon with Pelica because he is a wind tuner. So this is there's no level restriction or attack restriction on the wind tuner. So that's in the grave, normal or special summon this, and then you can make a level 7 dragon because that gets around a level 7 wind dragon, and yes, there is such a thing, thankfully. So you get around each of their restrictions from that, and then the last monster is 3 kaijus. Now let's see, I guess it should be 3 Jizukaru because Jizukaru is just the strongest one. Now you're wondering, why do we play this? Well, we do play a card that lets our opponent take battle damage that we would have taken. So with your tribute one of your opponent's monsters for this, summon one of your floaters, and then start attacking into it. They'll take the damage instead of you, and then you cycle through pretty much all your tuners, and you can win the game that way, which is really fun to do. So of course, for that reason, you should be playing 3 Jizukaru. Now I haven't picked up 2 Jizukaru. I forgot to. But, I mean, you can play whatever, even Dogoran, because he has some decent attack. And, yeah, basically just 3 big kaiju, any 3 big kaiju. But Dogoran is pretty neat because he is level 8, and if by chance you get to, say, creature swap him with creature swap, or use a Psychic Jumper to take him back, you can combo that. You can tribute one of your opponent's things, let's see, use Psychic Jumper, take their thing, and then Psychic Jumper is level 2, and then he's a level 8, so you can go ahead and sync from there into a level 10 Leo if you want to, but that's just something. Anyway, that's all for the monsters. Now on to spells, our 3 supply squad, and yes, I mean, the store only had 2 when I picked them up today, because I actually never had supply squads, because it's only been printed once, so stupid. But anyway, of course, we are playing floaters in here, so our stuff does get destroyed quite often, because, we want it to. So that's why I'm playing supply squad, because we at least can get a draw off of that. And, the only thing is, if you happen to draw into floaters and oh well, but you can still use them in the hand. Sadly, it is once per turn, if by chance. This card would have been absolutely broken if you get to draw a card every time, not just once per turn. And especially in this deck, because you can just ram through everything and your opponent takes damage. That's completely unfair, but still, a once per turn effect is still pretty good, even, if you, say you set a floater, then at least if it gets destroyed or attacked into, you can special summon another one, and then you get to draw from that. So this just helps with gaining some advantage. And then after that is 2 emergency teleports. Yes, I finally got them back after getting rid of them. But, they're a lot cheaper now because they're at 2, which that's, I guess, some of the big change to this deck is that, yes, emergency teleport is at 2 now. The main reason with this is, all your important floaters they're not really psychic. I mean, other than that is Winda and then I guess Kamui, but you don't want to summon Winda or Kamui with that because they're not exactly worth it. The main ones you're going to summon are Winda and your Psychic Jumper. Now, Psychic Jumper, of course, because he's a tuner, and it's really good to get tuners out if you say if you have enough stuff. Bringing this out just helps, and then of course you can use this effect to creature swap, and then Pelika mostly because she does get her effect when she's special summoned as well, and it does banish them during the end phase, but you don't care because you're going to use this special summon Goldo, sink into something, and then the banishing has no effect, and then this goes to the grave. So that's that's why we're playing this, because you really just need it in pretty much any Psychic deck. From there, just some destruction in 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. Yes, you could play Twin Twister, but I don't feel very comfortable discarding stuff in this deck because most of them are monsters and spells, which I tend to want to use. Now I guess you could say that you could discard stuff to fill up the grave for Pelika, but I'd rather set my Goldo, get its floater effect off, and then bring Pelika back later. From there comes my tech stuff, is 2 Miracle Synchro Fusion. Now this card, it's used to fusion summon a fusion monster that needs synchro monsters as fusion material. So again, that's like not a weird choice, but I do only play 1 fusion monster in the extra deck, but playing 2 does help you draw into them. And this build right now isn't very trap heavy, so say I set it, it does have the effect that if you set it and it's destroyed while you control it by your opponent's card effect, you get to draw a card, so it replaces itself. So that's one reason I'm playing 2. And again, the chance of drawing it, and you get it off. And again, fun deck, tech choice. That's the main reason I'm playing it. And then after that is 2 telekinetic Power Well. Whether you're playing a fun build or not, you really need to look into this card. Now, what it does is you get to special summon. Any number of level 2 or lower psychic monsters from your graveyard onto your field, and then you take 300 points of damage for every level of them. So if you special summon at least one of this, you're going to take 600 damage. If you special summon 2, you're going to take 1200. That's basically how it works. It works based on the level. That's why it's only level 2 or lower. Now, you may be asking, what level 2 or lower monsters are you even playing? Well, quite a bit. The Psychic Jumper, the Winda, and the Kamui, if I can find Kamui. There he is. So you play these. And, Telekinetic Power Well, it's pretty good. Yeah, it was 300, so, I mean, not that it's expensive, well, not the card, the cost of it, but, you can summon 3 of these for, that's 6, so 1800 life points, but you get 3 monsters to the field for 1800 life points, and then you can synchro on up for your important level 6 stuff, or you can even just bring these 2 out and make a level 4, or if you have a normal summon and you really need your tuner, then go ahead and bring him out, and then he only costs 600 life points, and you can sync from there. This is a really good card, and not that you're going to particularly care about losing life points in this deck, but you do have to use it sparingly. But you the deck is pretty defensive already with setting monsters, and then again having a card that prevents you from taking certain types of battle damage. You can afford to use the life points for this. And then after that is 2 Creature Swap, because Creature Swap is really good. We're playing a bunch of floaters, so we can go ahead and get rid of our floaters, give them to our opponent, use their stuff to attack. And then, of course, we are playing Kaijus, so you could combo with the Creature Swap and the Kaiju to go ahead, tribute for their monster, Creature Swap over your floater for the Kaiju, and then just keep going from there. So that's really fun. And then just 1 contact with Gusto. This is just some fun destruction. You get to shuffle 2 Gusto monsters from your graveyard back into your deck, and then target 1 card to destroy. Now, there are a lot of Gusto monsters that focus on putting stuff from the graveyard back into the deck to keep your floater arsenal hot, to restock your floaters and stuff. Now, I'm not a big fan of it, but oftentimes you won't get to even use those effects just because the game can go by so quickly. This is the only one that I play. Now, Cam does have an effect that you get to special summon. You get to shuffle 2 Gusto monsters from your graveyard back into your deck and draw a card. A bunch of people always say, "Why don't you play Cam?" I say, well, if I normal summon Cam, what do I get out of it? Unless I have an emergency teleport to summon a Psychic Jumper from the deck, there's not much. And then, especially with emergency teleport being down to 2 now, and then with Cam, I guess you can combo with some of your floater stuff. But that's just the main reason I don't play her. Now, it would be nice having a level 4, so maybe I could play her for that, but I would just rather focus on some other stuff. That's it for spells. Now just for traps, or basic stuff. Let's see. I guess Solemn, and then some of these are... any combo of these are kind of a substitute for Solemn Notice. Yeah, Notice. Because that one's just good. Really, I almost find that like I barely even need traps in this deck just because it's pretty defensive as far as floaters, and then you can get rid of your opponent's stuff through different means. But this is just some basic monster stopping stuff that I'm using. Now as for extra deck, I hardly even want to show you anything just because for the most part with this build, all you really need is that, which I should be playing through, I guess, but. You know, you could do what you want, but for the most part, this is important stuff you may need. You may need a Totem Bird, because Pelica can make a rank 3, but it has to be wind, and Totem Bird's not half bad. Some low-level wind stuff, because, you know, if you happen to get into Pelica and you can only summon wind monsters that turn, hey, these are useful just because they're wind. Gusto-specific stuff being this one. A Gusto Goldos, a level 5. It's got some good effects. It's basically the same effect as Contact with Gusto, but in monster form. But like, it's also good because it can help you not rank up, but level up. Because you can go Kamui into Goldo with this, and then normal summon Eagle, and then this with Eagle makes Freeze, which is really important. And then you at least have Goldo in the grave for when you bring out Pelica. Now, Freeze is the combo one. The best card, which again, I probably should have gotten the third one. The effect is that when it's synchro summoned, you get to target one Gusto monster in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. Or, not monster, one Gusto card. So, you know, if by chance you happen to be playing any other Gusto cards. But for the most part, Pelica, right? So, like, the best play is, say you have Goldo in the grave, summon Pelica, or even, like, emergency teleport Pelica. Basically summon her. Effect summons Goldo. Sync into Freeze effect, take back Pelica to your hand, right? Like, that's the downside though, you can only use her effect once per turn, otherwise that'd be real busted, because then you can just double Freeze, I guess, but that's the main point. You get this in your hand to use next turn, and then summon, yada yada. Some fun stuff going on there. Or if by chance you happen to summon this during your end phase and activate the effect, summon Goldo, then I guess you could go double Freeze from there. But Freeze's other effect is that any battle damage that you would take from a battle involving a Gusto monster, your opponent takes instead. So, if you have Freeze on the field and any one of your monsters like that, so say you have Freeze on the field, then this guy, Eagle, any battle damage that you would take, your opponent takes instead. But, well, let me see, really though, I guess you should start with Goldo, because Goldo's the best one. Because you can go Goldo to Eagle to Winda. So let's say you had that fancy Kaiju situation. You attributed one of your opponent's monsters for a Kaiju. You have Freeze and Goldo on the field. Goldo's going to attack. Your opponent's going to take the damage. Goldo's effect activates to summon Eagle. Eagle attacks. Your effect is going to activate. Well, continuous effect. Your opponent takes the damage. Effect activates. Summon Winda. Winda attacks. Opponent takes damage. Now, of course, Winda, if you willingly attack into your opponent's monster, you don't get to special summon. So that's why Winda has to be the last one. And then by this point, your opponent's pretty much taken nearly enough, and then you just attack with Freeze because Freeze does count herself, and then you pretty much win from there. I think that should add up. I need to check, and I'll probably add the math in post or something. But Freeze also has the effect that she can't be destroyed by battle, so that's really useful because, you know, if you just have her on the field, your opponent has something bigger, you can just kind of keep poking at it, and they take some damage. From there, Orient Dragon's pretty useful. He gets rid of your opponent's synchro monsters, but he's mostly there for, like, another choice, say. And mostly for Debris Dragon, because Debris Dragon... yeah, there he is. Debris Dragon, effect to summon Kamui. You can make a level 6, but it has to be a dragon. Hey, Orient Dragon. Orient Dragon fits the bill. Black Rose, because Black Rose is useful. Clearwing Synchro, because he is a wind dragon. And like I said, with going Pelica to Debris Dragon, that's pretty good. I'd probably play more Clearwing Synchro Dragons. And then I also need to try to get his big brother. But for the most part, this is basic stuff. And then Stardust because he's a wind. And then lastly, the ultimate Axon Kicker. That's it. He's there for the Miracle Synchro Fusion, which again is just a fun thing. He does require one Psychic monster and one Psychic Synchro monster. And you have to banish them. But you can banish them from the grave. So if any of these kind of wear out their welcome, or if they happen to go to the grave, then you go ahead and banish them and bring this out. This guy's pretty good. Can't be destroyed by card effects. Inflicts piercing battle damage, and anytime it destroys an opponent's monster, you gain that monster's attack as life points. It's just a fun thing. It is a nice 2,900. So again, it's just a fun thing. Like, this is a fun build. You can the point of it is to have fun and pull out different tricks to surprise your opponent, and cards that they've never even heard of. Now this isn't a full extra deck because, like I said, I don't even buy cards real life anymore. But my only suggestions would be, I guess, maybe more of that. Maybe another one of him. What else? And then his big brother. I forget what his effect does, but the nuclear wing synchro dragon. If it is wind, but basically all you need is winds, because this deck kind of is, again, like I said, a gimmicky, fun-ish, and focuses more on Pelica. And again, I think a telekinetic power well. Yeah, telekinetic power well summoning 3, you can make freeze, and that's pretty cool. So that's all for the extra deck, because there's not much to talk about. Basically, just play winds and freeze. You need freeze. You should probably play 3. Anyway, that's been it for this Gusto deck profile. This fun Gusto deck that I enjoy. It's fun. Like I said, very, well, not gimmicky. It's just a fun build, and like I said, I would like to work on a version that's even just harder freeze dot deck, but this one is meant to, have other different things that you can do, and like I said, different tricks to surprise your opponent. Now, some people always recommend that I play Speedroids because Speedroids are wind, but, well, my problem with Speedroids is that, the monsters that special summon themselves are non-tuners, and in case you didn't know, Freeze, the main card that I want to be able to almost always summon, requires the material is one tuner, one or more non-tuner Gusto. So you need to summon it with using Winda, Kamui, or Pelica. That's why the Goldo into Pelica works so well. That's why Telekinetic Power Well for Psychic Jumper, a tuner, into with Winda and Kamui is really good because that summons Winda, because the non-tuners need to be Gusto, and that's why maybe I should play a Cam, because you can go E-Telly with this. But yeah, that is my biggest reason for not playing Speedroids. And I mean, you could play them with the tuners, because the tuners are wind, and you could summon them with Pelica. And again, a lot of people play Pelica in Speedroids, and also I guess I should pick up some Speedroid monsters for the extra deck, which, by the way, you should do that too. But that's my main reason for not playing Speedroids. And I mean, I guess you could, if you're focusing on a build that's strictly synchro and doesn't really play freeze, maybe plays freeze at 1 or 2 in the extra deck and isn't, I'm not saying that freeze is a big focus of the deck, but if you're playing a build that's mostly tuners, you can get rid of the Kaiju, the Psychic Jumper, the Debris Dragon, play this main core, maybe even not Kamui, just play this core, and then a core of Speedroids, and you got yourself a good deck. But I haven't picked up Speedroids or tried them out, but you could do that. Maybe I'll do that in the future if there's enough demand for it. But like I said, this is more a fun, not pure Gusto, but about as pure as I like it or I can keep it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I probably wore your ears off saying that, hey, this is a fun deck, so don't comment anything rude about it. Let me know what you thought in the comments, honestly. If you would like to see a different kind of build, not a more competitive build, but maybe something utilizing Speedroids, maybe I can do that in DN once I finally figure out how to get that to work. But we'll see. Or maybe I can pick up the Speedroids in real life. Anyway, if you enjoyed the content, remember to subscribe. Also leave a like and a comment to show your support. This has been King of Feral Imps. Have a nice day.